Deleting your Sora account is permanent and cannot be undone, so you will not be able to make another account. All of your data, including profile, conversations, and API usage across ChatGPT and Sora, will be removed. Good morning. The news is all Sora. I want to avoid it, to be honest. I want to have a look at Sora, not just to the technology itself, but at how this impacts the strategy of OpenAI moving forward, because it's complicated, I would say. There's a lot of criticism, and I think very valid criticism, being pointed at Sam Altman right now for building what is basically an AI slop, an AI video slop machine, but asking also for a huge amount of cash in order to cure cancer at the same time. So it's problematic, and Sam Altman's actually come out and publicly said, okay, yes, I get this. I understand why this is an issue. So the context of this, I think, is really useful, is that there's a deal that's just been cut. OpenAI has completed a deal allowing current and former employees to sell about $6.6 billion worth of shares in the company at a $500 billion valuation, according to persons familiar with the matter. So this has been an ongoing saga of the structure of OpenAI: for-profit, non-profit, cap profit, etc., etc. They have a very complicated organizational chart with lots of different companies inside each other. I've pulled up the diagram before, and it is complicated. You could tell lots of lawyers have been paid a lot of money to put that together. But it looks like the people who are employed are now able to sell their shares, and they're going to be able to sell around $6.6 billion worth of shares. So the people who are inside now have liquidity, and this is really good for retention as well, which, considering the amount of poaching that Mark Zuckerberg has been doing, is incredibly important. This is breaking news. This has just come out a couple of hours ago, so we don't have all the details. This is also relatively non-public, so it's according to a person familiar with the matter, but it looks like there is some kind of shuffling or selling of shares going on within OpenAI. So we need to remember that this is the larger context of what's happening. This is a business, despite it being in a strange capped profit shell where 49% of the profits can be taken by Microsoft up to a certain amount, blah, blah, blah. It's complicated. So OpenAI are running a business, but he's also trying to cure cancer and provide a personalized tutor for every single human on Earth. This is what he was saying a few days ago. And now Sora has come out and is an AI video slop generator. There are questions being asked, and I think rightfully, and they're coming from multiple sides. I'm going to have a look at a couple of things. First, what Sam Altman has been saying last week, compare it to what's happened this week, and then look at the response, because there's been some internal dissension within OpenAI, and Sam Altman has actually put out a statement talking about this dissension. So remember, it would have been last week, probably a week and a half ago, Sam Altman put out a blog article called Abundant Intelligence. It's over at his blog. The important paragraph is, if AI stays on the trajectory that we think it will, then amazing things will be possible. Maybe with 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to cure cancer. Or with 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to provide customized tutoring to every student on Earth. If we are limited by compute, we'll have to choose which one to prioritize. No one wants to make that choice, so let's go build. And this whole Abundance Intelligent blog article that he put out is basically saying, hey, we need to build more data centers. And to build more data centers, we need more money. So please, can you give us some more money so we can cure cancer and provide private tutors to everybody on Earth? A week later, they launch Sora. The other context here is, this was 2 weeks ago. Sam Altman, he was preparing the ground for this. Now, when we go back and look at his public proclamations, we can see he was preparing the ground. He said, over the next few weeks, we're launching some new computer-intensive offerings. And people are like, oh, great, we're going to get new research models. Nuh-uh. Because of the associated costs, some features will initially only be available to Pro subscribers. And some new products will have additional fees, potentially Sora. Our intention remains to drive the cost of intelligence down as aggressively as we can and make our services widely available. We are confident that we will get there over time. But we also want to learn what's possible when we throw a lot of compute, Sora, at today's model costs, at interesting new ideas, Sora. So this now feels like he was laying the groundwork, saying, hey, we're about to burn a lot of energy. We're about to really wreck those GPUs because we have something coming down the pipeline. He did not say what it was, and the assumption at this time was, oh, it's a more intelligent. I don't think we necessarily thought it would be Sora 2. So the fact that this AI video generator has come out, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of the videos, a lot of them are, it feels a bit like watching interdimensional cable, and Sam Altman is the star of every single show because you can use his Cameo inside of Sora 2. It is arguably AI slop. I think there are some positives to it. I think their Cameo feature, really clever. The ability to put yourself and to put your friends with their permission into videos opens up the socialness of it, because it allows you to create videos about in-jokes, to create memes, to tease your friends within a friendship circle, because everyone has their own stories, their own in-jokes, and now you can bring them to life via video. I don't know how that extends to a full social network, though. I think it's really cool in intimate groups where you can create content about each other. Very cool. Whether or not that can scale to a new social media network, I don't know. But some people are very aggressively tooting the horn. I've got Andrew Wilkinson here who says, I think OpenAI just killed TikTok. I'm already laughing my head off and hooked on my Sora feed. And now the number one barrier to posting, the ability to sing, dance, perform, edit, is gone. Just 100% imagination. RIP theatre kids. Obviously, he's baiting a little bit here, but I think there is a grain of truth here. Normally on social media, 99% of people are consuming, and there's 1 or 2% who are creating content. It's a hugely disproportionate spread. This has now broken down the barriers so that anyone can basically create content. You don't have to get on camera, you don't need to perform, you just need to have a funny idea or an interesting idea and then be able to communicate that to the AI. And as long as it's 10 seconds, at least for now, you'll be able to create that content. So this puts us in a very interesting place where the barrier between creator and consumer is decreasing. This is the positive spin. It democratizes filmmaking, it democratizes video, democratizes music without requiring hard work or talent. So you can see the slippery slope of this as well, where when you allow anyone to create anything, then the volume of information, the volume of content that's going to be out there will just be absolutely unbelievably overwhelming. So there's a lot going on. We still need to see whether or not this is going to be a flash in the pan, but I think Sora might actually crack the AI video kind of problem, getting it into the public realm and getting the public to actually use it on a daily basis. I think it might be a ChatGPT moment for video. We'll see. We're only 2 days in. Would you say Sora 2 is better than Avosmash.io? I've never heard of Avosmash.io, so probably, yeah. Let's have a look. Avosmash.io. Video storytelling. Okay, it has storyboards. So Sora 2 does not have storyboards at the moment. However, Sora 1 did have, they added additional functionality. So I imagine we're going to be getting more of that inside of. And it looks like Avosmash is a wrapper or a layer on top of video models. So Higgsfield. Oh no, I haven't got Higgsfield. I see Kling, I see VO. So Sora 2 potentially via the API could be put inside of a product like Avosmash. And Avosmash or equivalents sit above it, and they give you additional tools for consistency, for storyboarding, for creating videos that clip together, for example. So I think it looks like a totally different tool to me. But it's exciting for all of these tools that work with models like VO and Higgsfield and Hylio. I don't know what the tone is on that, because Sora 2 will work with them via the API as well. So we've had a look at the potential tension between, hey, we're trying to cure cancer, and oh, by the way, we've created this AI video generator and we're making the new TikTok. So the depths of AI slop here. So a few people have come forward and pointed out, hey, there's a bit of a contradiction here. Very fair. So Sam Altman has come forward and tweeted. So he says, I get the vibe here in response to Sam Altman 2 weeks ago. We need $7 trillion and 100 gigawatts to cure cancer. Sam Altman today, we are launching AI slop videos marketed as personalized ads. So Sam responds, I get the vibe here. So he understands the problem. But we do mostly need that capital for building AI that can do science. So he's saying, oh, we still need that money for the data centers, and we will do science with it. We will cure cancer. And for sure, we're focusing on AGI with almost all of our research efforts. So please keep sending the checks. But it's also nice to show people cool new tech products along the way, make them smile and hopefully make some money given all of that compute need. When we launched ChatGPT, there was a lot of who needs this and where is AGI. Reality is nuanced when it comes to optimal trajectories for a company. So he's avoiding the problem, I would say, but in a very polite way. A couple of things. This is probably the important paragraph. It's also nice to show people new tech and products along the way, make them smile and hopefully make some money given all that compute need. So he's saying the reality of this is we do need to have popular products. We need to have users coming in because that's how we're going to make some revenue in the meantime. Yes, we're working our way towards AGI. Once we hit AGI, we may not need revenue. Revenue and profit may not be important concepts in the world anymore. But until then, we still need to make money. We're still a business, so we do need to release products like this. And the cool new tech and products along the way, this is also a way of continuing to get investment. Because remember, the investors want to see a return. And investing on AGI or ASI is risky. It's a risky business. We don't know whether that's possible. So it's more of a speculative gambit. Whereas if you invest in a company that happens to also have the largest AI video platform, the TikTok of AI video, and they're making money off the back of that, which they might do, probably through advertising, then that becomes a safer bet for your investment. So I can see why he's doing it. I think the timing is problematic. I think putting out an article last week talking about how with enough compute power we can cure cancer, please give me more money for more GPUs, and then a week later dropping Sora 2, I think the timing is erroneous. I think they've slipped up there. I think, however, the launch has been fantastic. I think they've been extremely clever with their marketing, allowing Sam Altman's face to be put in videos. Very clever. They're giving a face to their AI model in a way that Hylio or VO3 or Kling, they do not have. It's very hard to tell whose video it is. You don't know which model has been used to make that unless you dig into the comments, dig into the description. Whereas with this, if you see a video of Sam Altman robbing GPUs from Target or dressed in a bunny suit wrapped in a sleeping bag, you know that this has been made by Sora 2. So they've managed to put a personal brand onto an impersonal model, which I think is absolute genius. He's had to, presumably, take quite a lot of embarrassing videos, but I think the sacrifice is well worth it. And the second thing they did was the codes. They were giving out codes. Once you created an account on Sora, you were given 4 codes that you could give to your friends. And then when they created an account, they were given 4 more. And then it expanded from there, presumably exponentially. That created scarcity. So Twitter and Reddit yesterday was all people saying, hey, have you got a Sora code? Have you got a Sora code? I've probably been asked 100 plus times yesterday if I've got a code, but I only had 4 and I gave them away really quickly. So that created scarcity and everybody wanting to get into this new application. It's a bit like a queue outside of an exclusive club. I think they've done very well with the launch. It is now opening up more widely. If you are in the UK or in Europe, you cannot access it via the App Store. So the way to get into it is you need to turn on a VPN to America, go to sora.chatgpt.com in a browser on your phone or on a computer inside of Chrome, and that will allow you to get inside. So you cannot do it through the phone application, but you can do it through the browser. As long as you have a VPN on. 3, you're going to need an invite code to get in. But I think they've relaxed that, and I think it might be any pro user, but I haven't checked, and I already have an account, so I can't. Oh, what is the app? The app is called Sora, Sora. If you're outside of America or United States of America or Canada, it won't show up in the App Store. It's also not on Android yet either. So everything that they're doing, we need to view it through the lens of advertising. At some point, OpenAI are going to release adverts onto their platform. They're going to have sponsored listings inside of ChatGPT. They're going to run adverts inside of Sora. This is how these companies make money. This is how Google makes money. It's an advertising company. This is how Meta makes money through Facebook and Instagram. They are primarily advertising platforms, and that's where the majority of their cash comes from. There are alternative revenue models available for an AI company, like selling access to the API. Absolutely. But the numbers that come from those are very small compared to the cash you can get from advertising. So Google, one of the biggest companies on earth, about 70-80% of their revenue is directly from advertising. It's not from technology. It's not from their cloud platform. It's not from Android. The cash, the money comes from advertising. They're not a tech company. They're an advertising company who happens to do tech at the same time. So OpenAI 100% will be looking at their options here. And Sora will be a new way to do that, is you get people onto a social media platform. So yes, they are pooling people, they are gathering attention. They already have 700 million users, so they have 700 million weekly eyeballs that they can show adverts for too. I think they're biding their time because they know there's going to be a public backlash. You need to wait until the technology is so useful, we cannot live without ChatGPT, and then you start to feed in the adverts. It's 100% in their plan. It's just a matter of when rather than if. I'm sure everyone will be shocked and horrified when it happens. Oh my God, they added adverts. They betrayed our trust. It's like, yeah, of course they were going to do that. So yes, they're pooling the sheep to help the shepherd thrive. And there will be a slaughter at some point. If you're in the States, you'll be able to download it. No problem. So there's an article, TechCrunch moved in very quickly. This was October the 1st. So the day of Sora, they gathered up a bunch of OpenAI people and found out what they think about Sora. Several current and former OpenAI researchers are speaking out over the company's first foray into social media, a TikTok-style feed filled with AI-generated videos and lots of Sam Altman deepfakes. The researchers airing their grievances on X seem torn over how the launch fits into OpenAI's non-profit mission to develop advanced AI that benefits humanity. However, as I mentioned at the top of the show, OpenAI has completed a deal, this happened a few hours ago, to allow current and former employees to sell $6.6 billion worth of shares in the company at a 500 bill valuation. So the money is starting to be accessible, which was always the difficulty. So yeah, they seem torn how it fits into the mission to cure cancer and push humanity forward. AI-based feeds are scary, said OpenAI pre-training researcher John Hallam. I won't deny that I felt some concern when I first learned we were releasing Sora 2. That said, I think the team did the absolute best job they possibly could in designing a positive experience. We're going to do our best to make sure AI helps and does not hurt humanity. So if you want to add yourself as a Cameo, you need to go through pretty high level verification proving its use. There's lots of kind of turning your head and counting 1, 2, 3, etc. And to be able to use your friends in a Cameo, they need to do the same with their own Sora app. And then they need to explicitly grant you permission. So once you have your friends' permission, you can put them in your videos, you can do what you want with them, but you can't just do it with anybody at all. That said, I was able to generate videos with celebrities very easily. So celebrities and characters fall outside of this because they've been pushed into the training, because this has been trained on movies and films and TV shows, etc. So they've slipped into the model anyway. But if you want to create videos of your friends or people that you know, then you do need to go through these rigorous verifications. Another one, OpenAI. So Boaz Barak, an OpenAI researcher and Harvard professor, said, I share a similar mix of worry and excitement. Sora 2 is technically amazing, but it's premature to congratulate ourselves on avoiding the pitfalls of other social media apps and deepfakes. So these are the researchers, the people who are putting together the models, who are working out how to make these models better. So an awful lot of them are worried about it. It goes on, there's a few more. I think with good reason. This is a potentially extremely problematic push. I think the way they're doing it so far is fine. It is ethical at the moment, and the requirement for verification, etc. But this is only day 2. Let's see what happens moving forward. The big scary thing though, actually, I'll check some questions. Can you use Sora to live stream through TikTok? No. Sora is currently limited to 10 seconds. So you'd have to 10 seconds and I think 100 generations per day. So that gives you 1,000 seconds worth. It's not a real-time model. Then you'd have to stitch them all together, edit it. No, basically, not at the moment. It's not for that. Potentially in the future. But right now what we have is the very basic version of the model. I'm going to talk finally about the really scary part of Sora, which is, and this is a weird one. So when you sign up to Sora, you're basically giving it permission to train on all of your videos, and that includes training on your likeness. So if you put yourself in using the Cameo feature, then they scan your face, you turn around, you show different angles of your face, you count to 3, 1, 2, 3, you give it some voice samples. You're basically signing over your likeness to OpenAI at this point. So you might be thinking, oh, I can just delete my account and surely they're going to flush it out. I have a right to be forgotten. Yes, but deleting your Sora account is permanent and cannot be undone. I'll read the official message that comes up. When you try and delete your account, deleting your account is permanent and cannot be undone. So you will not be able to make another account. All of your data, including profile, conversations, and API usage across ChatGPT and Sora, will be removed. You cannot reuse the same email or phone number for a new account. If you've been using ChatGPT with the API, this access will also be deleted. So they will delete your Sora. Fine, cool. We'll get rid of your likeness and we won't train on your likeness. They don't even say that, funnily enough, but that's the assumption. Fine. But we're also going to delete your ChatGPT account. And we're going to get rid of all of your profile and your conversations and everything you've done with ChatGPT. We're going to delete that at the same time. Okay. And if you've been building anything using the API, we're going to shut down those API connections. Wow. So I did not know this when I created the Sora account. I use the API. I use the ChatGPT, the chatbot. I can now no longer delete my Sora account because I would lose all of that work. I would lose all of my conversations. This is probably hidden away in the terms and services that I obviously didn't read and nobody reads, but this is a huge problem. I'm surprised people aren't making a lot bigger of a deal of this yet. I don't think people know about this yet, but it will wipe your entire presence from ChatGPT and you will never be able to get that back. You will not be able to get it back in with the same email or phone number ever again, and you will lose absolutely everything you've ever done with OpenAI as a company. Kind of mad, really mad, and very worrying. I don't know why they've gone so draconian on that. It's to stop you from deleting Sora. But I think there's going to be pushback on this when people realize that these are the terms, because it basically means you cannot delete your Sora account. Otherwise, you lose absolutely everything. Yeah, really trying to lock you in extremely. And the fact that this is not made apparent when you sign up for Sora, because everyone's, yay, Sora, I've got my code, I'm going to log in, woohoo. And there's very little, oh, by the way, these are terms and services. You go in and you're excited to use it to play around, and then somebody actually checked the terms and services, checked the deletion mechanisms, like, oh my God. So do be aware of that. I will probably put out a few videos about that today because this is a big problem. One amongst many. I think it's really cool. I do use Sora. It's a lot of fun, but there are some red flags that we need to be aware of, and we're going to have to see how the dust settles over the next few weeks. And this is the biggest red flag. If you want out of it, tough. If you want to leave Sora, you leave OpenAI forever. It is an issue. It's bad we can't tell what's real anymore now. The next elections are going to be an absolute mess. It's already bad. So a lot of the criticism of AI over the last couple of years has been, oh, it's not very good. Especially with videos, like, oh, well, I can tell it's not real. We've just left that. I think we've skipped over the Uncanny Valley, and people haven't quite realized the ramifications of this. We just skipped over, and now it is indistinguishable from reality. Sure, you can go with a fine-tooth comb through it, and if you go frame by frame and you're an expert at these things, you'll be able to find discrepancies. Absolutely, 100%. For most people, though, no, that time has passed. So now AI video is at the stage where instead of it being, haha, it's funny, look, they've got too many fingers, it is now indistinguishable. And we as a society need to work out how we deal with that. Video can no longer be trusted. And it's going to become better, and it's going to become cheaper for anyone to access these tools. However, it doesn't have the same level of accessibility as ChatGPT and Sora, which has its own apps. VO3 was around. Yes, arguably it's even better at some things than Sora 2. But for the majority of people out there, it's a pain to use. They're not going to go to Google AI Studios and work out how to get it. They're not going to jump through those hoops. Whereas if there is something trending on the App Store, or if Sora gets built into ChatGPT, which already has a base of 700 million users, installed base of over 1 billion, then suddenly these tools become extremely accessible and more people start to use them. That has not been the case until now, until yesterday. And even it hasn't hit us fully because we still have the invite codes. So in the next few months, this is going to become the norm. And what we can trust and what we can't trust, the lines will blur so much. And that's going to be an issue, a huge issue. Right, I'm going to finish up this live stream. I've got a day out and about in London. I'm meeting a bunch of content creators, some from America who have come over, and a bunch of UK and London based TikTokers and Instagram content creators as well. Going for lunch, and then I have a party over at Google. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, hey Richard, how are you doing? Good to see you again, Kyle. It's been years since London. Yes, how are you? I'm not sure if you're still on the live. I do these lives every day, by the way, Richard. We should meet up. Maybe DM me, or I'll DM you after this. So, yes, I'm finishing up at only half an hour, but the main news really is Sora today. We've covered a handful of things. The fact that OpenAI now has a valuation of over 500 billion, and they've reached some kind of deal which is allowing employees, former and current, to liquidate some of that. So there's going to be a big payday coming up for the employees. This has only been broken a couple of hours ago. There'll be more details on that. And then we talked about Sam Altman wanting to cure cancer last week and now releasing ultimately what is an AI Slop generator, but a very good one with social aspects. Then talking about how some people are saying this is going to kill TikTok, this is the future of social media. And then finally looking at the really scary thing, which I'm going to post another video about over on TikTok, which is if you delete your Sora account, you will lose your ChatGPT account and you will lose your API access. You will lose absolutely everything. Your bridges with OpenAI as a company will be burnt if you delete your Sora account. So be very careful, both in signing up and definitely in deleting. I don't think they've been clear enough about this, considering the immensity of that deletion. Fantastic. So you can find all of these videos over on YouTube. We clip them and we make them more accessible. So each of the stories will be its own video, much easier than watching me blab for an hour because we have an editor who manages to produce that. And there's a newsletter which comes out every single day as well, which is a written summary of what's been covered in the live, as well as links to the videos themselves. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. And for the newsletter, the link is in the bio for that, and it is free to sign up. We're at 6,160 subscribers. Slowly getting there. We should be at 10,000 in a few more weeks, a month. We're getting there. So thank you so much for your support over on YouTube as well. Great. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you for more AI news. Thanks.